FS1 college football, sponsored by Dave & Buster's. Eat, drink, play, and watch sports. We're at FedEx Field for the season opener. It is Maryland hosting 23rd ranked Texas. And here at Maryland, as heartbreaking and then tumultuous of an offseason for a program as you'll find. May 29, 19-year-old lineman Jordan McNair collapses during a team workout and after 2 weeks in the hospital passes away from a heat stroke. Then on August 10th, ESPN reports allegations of a toxic culture in the football program. The next day, head coach DJ Durkin, members of the training staff are placed on administrative leave. August 14th, the strength coach Rick Court resigns, and the university announces that it accepts legal and moral responsibility for the training staff's mistakes the day of McNair's collapse. Now, there are now two separate University Commission investigations ongoing. For the latest, here's Bruce Feldman.
Joe, that second investigation is into the allegations of the toxic culture at Maryland. And so what the committee is trying to get a handle of, was it just very demanding or did it become very demeaning? From what I've heard, DJ Durkin has quite a bit of support from some big money boosters, and also there's already been quite a bit of information that has supported him that the committee has found in this investigation. But what is very complicated here is we don't know who ultimately is going to make the decision, because the head of the school, the president, as well as the AD, their careers are also hanging in the balance here.
All right, Bruce, so welcome inside. Joe Davis and Brady Quinn. It's hard for the game not to feel a little bit secondary, a little bit trivial given all that backdrop. But around the program this week, talking to the Maryland players, they're looking at this as more, as hard as it may be, of an opportunity, their first official one, to honor their teammate, honor their friend.
That was the sentiment that we got from talking with their senior running back, Ty Johnson. They want to play this season for Jordan McNair in his honor. And I got to tell you, Joe, unfortunately, I had experienced a tragedy like this in my life. In 2012, playing with the Kansas City Chiefs, we lost a teammate the day before a game. And one of the things you come to realize when you experience something like this is everyone handles grief in a different way. And there's no game plan for how to handle this. And the toughest part is they're going to have to deal with this the entire season. They have to support one another and just take things day by day.
Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator, serving as the interim head coach for Maryland. For Texas, meanwhile, the big story around camp in Tom Herman's second season was the quarterback battle. They're going to go with a sophomore, Sam Ehlinger.
And the deciding factor when I talked to head coach Tom Herman was really how Sam Ehlinger handles pressure, and in particular when things break down. When there's nowhere to go and he's got to make a play, Tom Herman feels like Sam Ehlinger gives them the best opportunity to make something out of nothing. With Shane Buechele, struggled a little bit more in some of those circumstances. Another piece is Sam Ehlinger is a little bit better of a runner too, and you know how Tom Herman likes to incorporate his quarterbacks in the running game.
Well, moments ago, and Maryland took the field carrying the flag with the number of Jordan McNair. That's his old high school teammate Ellis McKinney bringing the flag out. They brought his jersey out and held a moment of silence here at FedEx Field again just a moment ago prior to the coin toss. Maryland won that coin toss and will receive. It is the true freshman Cameron Dicker that will handle the kicking duties, and Ty Johnson back to receive it for the Terps. Fifth meeting between these programs back to 1959, and of course last year all that build up for Texas into Tom Herman's first game, and then the shocker as Maryland went into Austin and won it 51-41. Now year two under Tom Herman for the Horns, hoping to build off what wound up being their first winning season since Matt Brown. Off we go from Landover. Johnson from the goal line. And Ty Johnson to the sideline, taking it across the 30. That's where Maryland will begin. And the Terps have talked about how it's time to get back to focusing on the game, but that everything that they do, every play that they make, every snap they take is going to be in honor of McNair. And for this first play, you'll notice that the plan is to leave that right guard spot open. And they will take a delay of game. Texas on board with this will decline the penalty. It's a classy move by the Longhorns to be on board with it. And now they can get things going.
A tremendous show of sportsmanship by Texas, understanding what this Maryland team has been going through. One thing is of note, though, there was a quarterback battle. Kasim Hill is going to be the starting quarterback for Maryland in this game, but you may see Tyrell Pigram at some point, who had a big impact on last year's game in Austin.
And it is the redshirt freshman Hill as Maryland begins from the 33, and his first toss is knocked down. He took over during the Texas game late in the third quarter last year. 2.5 games, was very good before tearing his ACL. Game 3 against UCF.
Interim head coach and offensive coordinator Matt Canada talked about him being such a student of the game, and he felt like that was really the biggest determining factor between him and Tyrell Pigram. He's a little bit better passer, but just his full understanding of the offense.
And how about this task for Matt Canada, who's brought in as the first-year coordinator, now the interim head coach. No head coaching experience for him. Here's a handoff to Jacobs, who's got room off the left side for a Maryland first down as the senior receiver runs for 10.
And you're going to see a lot of that throughout today's game. Motion, shifts, different personnel groupings and subbing. Kind of a throwback now seeing a team huddle in college football, but that's what Matt Canada brings. He's going to make the defense for Texas have to think about a lot before the snap of the football.
Hurry up to the line for this first down from the 46. Hill with a fake. Now dump it off. Ty Johnson gets met at the line of scrimmage and dropped by Devontae Davis, one of the 8 senior starters on this Texas defense.
Well defended by Texas. They were trying to set up what was essentially a screen. They're trying to get the ball behind the line of scrimmage to Ty Johnson, which allowed the wide receivers to block downfield. But Devontae Davis did a good job of keeping his leverage, staying to the outside, and was able to meet Ty Johnson for no gain.
And Maryland fans may be surprised to hear this after they put up 51 on Texas week 1 last year. But the Longhorns became one of the top defenses in the Big 12 as that season went on. Play action for Hill on second down. He's well protected. He has time to find Jacobs, who's got a first down and then some to the Texas 30 on a gain of 24.
And this is the progression that you want to see in a young quarterback. Watch as Kasim Hill comes back. He goes through his progression, doesn't like what he sees downfield, but progresses to his number 3 option, the senior, Tavon Jacobs, for the big game.
And Jacobs, the only sure thing they've got at receiver. Of course, lost DJ Moore, who is the Big Ten Receiver of the Year for the NFL and the Carolina Panthers. First down and 10 from the 31. Or that motion. He'll throw again. Into the flats he goes for Johnson. Angled out of bounds by P.J. Locke.
So much going on with this Maryland offense. They lined up in an unbalanced formation, which causes everyone on the Texas defense to have to communicate and realign. Then they motion, and then they all of a sudden run a little boot action. So again, a lot of the disguise and things that the Maryland offense likes to do to keep the Texas defense on their heels.
Opening drive of the season for the Terps, and on second down and 7, it's a sweep play. And breaking free for the touchdown is Jay Sean Jones on his first touch as a Terp. Well, that's not a bad way to start your time as a college football player.
First game of the college football season, you never know what to expect, and that's a true freshman getting his first carry for a touchdown. How about that to start your career?
Another true freshman here in the kicker. Joseph Petrino knocks it through. And Maryland, in 2 minutes and 8 seconds, travels 67 yards in 6 plays. And the freshman Jones opens the scoring as we open the season.
Let's take a look at that last touchdown play. We talked about the jet sweep motion, but check out the blocking by the tight ends. This is going to be the biggest key. They didn't have this a year ago. Edwards, Okonkwo, both of them helped paving the way for Jones to have an alley to get the score.
One of 3 big plays on that opening drive for Maryland. And it's the true freshman from Fort Myers, Florida, Jay-Sean Jones, capping the drive off with a touchdown. Petrino handled the kickoff duties as well. L.J. Humphrey signaling for the fair catch. And Texas will open its offensive season. Sam Ehlinger winning the starting job over Shane Buechele.
Went to Westlake High School in Texas, and there's a lot of notable alums there. Future Hall of Famer Drew Brees, Nick Foles, Super Bowl MVP. He had more passing yards, touchdowns than all those guys. The things that makes him special, really working this offense, is he's a tough runner. They're going to incorporate him in the running game, but he's cool under pressure. When things start to break down, that's where sometimes he becomes dangerous.
As Texas fans know well by this point, grew up going to games, season tickets in his family, dreaming of being the Texas quarterback. And he got to for some of last season, getting an opportunity early on with Buechele's shoulder injury. First Texas play of the season has Ehlinger throwing well behind his intended target, Brennan Eagles, and it's 2nd down 15.
A true freshman, and Eagles is actually who substituted in for Colin Johnson. So clearly not on the same page, and Colin Johnson is, they're hoping to be their big-time playmaker.
From the game due to an equipment violation.
Well, there you go.
We got it all going so far. Nice. And Colin Johnson back in here.
We're expecting a big year out of this young man.
Back-to-back throws in the hands of L.J. Humphrey. Able to step out of one tackle, but that's all. And Darnell Savage, the most experienced player on this Maryland defense, combines with Antoine Brooks.
And this is where the game's going to be won or lost for Texas on offense, is what they can do out on the perimeter. This is a staple of Tom Herman's offense, getting the ball to running backs and wide receivers on the outside. And if Maryland wants to stop them, Savage and the rest of the secondary is going to have to come up and make stops like that.
3rd and 15 for Ehlinger and the Texas offense. Ehlinger has time, lets it fly, but incomplete with Humphrey, the intended receiver. Now flag flies in. Rayvon Davis had the coverage and might get called for a drive-extending penalty here. Brad Van Vark, head referee this afternoon.
Holding defense number 2. That'll be a 10-yard penalty from the previous spot and an automatic 1st down.
And it was Rayvon Davis. He comes across with the motion man. That's little Jordan Humphrey. And at the very top of the route, as he grabs on right there, as Humphrey looks to get to the outside. Maybe ticky-tack, either way it was called.
Here's a shot. They've got Duvernay. He makes a leaping extended grab for the touchdown.
Sam Ehlinger feels like Antoine Brooks is one of the better defenders in the run and blitzing for Maryland, but not in coverage. He told me when he gets him one-on-one, he's going to take advantage. Just confirmed that he caught it with the layout, the extension. What a play by Duvernay.
And they get some big things on the first touch of the season for Duvernay. Cameron Dicker's extra point ties it at 7. And Texas promptly takes advantage of the good field position on the first play of the drive. Ehlinger finds Duvernay, and we are tied up here in the first. Exciting start to this game. 7-7 midway through the first quarter. Joe Davis, Brady Quinn, Bruce Feldman, Evan Duvernay. One heck of a catch to tie the score. Dicker sends it away, and Ty Johnson. And a nice return his first time. He's got another here. Maryland again A nice starting field position. Touchdown drive their first time out, then 3 and out. This drive begins with play action and an incompletion. It might have been tipped at the line of scrimmage. And Malcolm Roach got his hand on it as he looked for Chig Okonkwo. Second down.
Biggest difference so far between the first 2 series for the Texas defense. The first series where Maryland drove down the field, they never had to face a 3rd down. That was one of the best things Texas did last year defensively. Number 8 in the country. Last series, get them into 3rd and 12, much harder to convert.
On 2nd and 10, Hill steps into the pocket, floats one, sideline and incomplete. Should have been intercepted by Chris Boyd. Instead, it's 3rd and 10.
And this was by design. Clearly, they want to incorporate some misdirection and try to take a shot, but you're playing with fire here. 9 times out of 10, Chris Boyd comes down with that. 15 pass breakups last year. He's got those sticky fingers. He likes to get his hands on the football.
Now, we've talked about the improvements for the Texas defense last year in Todd Orlando's first season, trying to build off of those numbers. Would have been markedly better if not for the opener against Maryland when they gave up the 51. 3rd and 10, Texas bringing pressure out of the secondary. Maryland beats it. Jayson Jones, welcome to college football. This is going to come back, though. This is going to come back as he taunts his way into the end zone. It should be 2 touches as a collegiate and 2 touchdowns. Instead, 1 touchdown and 1 hard-learned lesson.
This is the immaturity that sometimes shows for some of those true freshmen when you put them into a big-time position like Maryland has done so far in this game.
There is no foul on the play for unsportsmanlike conduct. The result of the play is a touchdown.
He gets away with it. And so 2 touches and 2 touchdowns for Jones.
Let's take a look at that play, and clearly wide open, running down the middle of the field is Jones with no one around him.
Maryland back in front, 14-7. So Jones on the first drive, and the Jets sweep into score. Here on drive number 3, he cashes in again right down the center of the field to put the Terps back ahead.
Well, how did Jayson Jones get so far open? Well, Devontae Davis is down here at the bottom of the screen, that cornerback. He gets picked off. They run a little rub route, and that allows all this open space for Jayson Jones, and Kasim Hill really does the rest. And you can see the alleged taunting, I guess we'll call it, at the end of that play since it didn't get called.
Humphrey to return this for Texas. L.J. Humphrey to the 29. 14-7, Maryland in front. Texas takes over again, and here is their true freshman running back, Keontae Ingram, who's shut down at the line of scrimmage. 2nd down, and we check in with Bruce.
Joe, Kasim Hill using the leadership. He got over immediately when Jayson Jones got to the sideline and says, come on, man, use your head. Celebrate after you score, after. And I think the message was taken pretty well.
And he got an earful from Matt Canada before he even got to Hill. 2nd and 10. Ingram again. It's a guy that they are really excited about. True freshman from Carthage, Texas. He was an Under Armour All-American. Back-to-back 2,000-yard seasons. Part of what will be a running back rotation early on this year.
The running back class for Texas this past year in recruiting, it was solid. But the problem they're having was with their offensive line. They're not getting enough movement up front. They didn't last year. They're not so far today versus Maryland.
Kyle Porter comes in for the first time on 3rd and 6. Ellinger in trouble, steps away from it, keeps his eyes downfield, and it's knocked down 4th down. Darnell Savage all over the place in this first quarter, got his hand on it.
Well, it started with the pressure, something that Maryland really struggled with last season. Only 16 sacks in 12 games, and 9 of those came in the first couple of games of the year. This year it's different. Jesse Annam-Bonham's back. You've got Byron Cowart coming from Auburn, a very highly touted recruit. And even though Ellinger gets outside the pocket, Savage is still there to knock the football down.
Kuchevsky. First career punt was a boomer. Jacobs back to return it. Look out! It almost got blocked. Is able to get it off. And out of bounds near the 20. Well, last year in Austin, these teams met up week 1 as well.
Tom Herman, the era starting here for Texas. And this is blocked. Maryland is going to take this one to the house. And Green has it blocked. And Texas is going to get one back. Johnson up the middle. Ty Johnson, there he goes. Coming in to Austin in the first game of the Tom Herman era and defeating the Texas Longhorns. Quite a win.
For Maryland, it was their first top 25 win since 2010. Pigram more of a running threat. Yeah, that's what he does on first down for a gain of 7.
Matt Canada talked about playing both quarterbacks and really curtailing their package for each to accentuate what they do well. Pigram, a better runner, a little shiftier, more explosive than Hill. So expect him to run the football more. But when Kasim Hill's in the game, he can run the football too. A little more of a physical style runner.
Pigram was the starter for the Texas game last year and was having a great game before tearing his ACL late in the 3rd quarter. Second down and 3. Ryan Cobbs on the sweep. That crunch just shy of the marker. Jeffrey McCulloch is making the start for Anthony Wheeler, with Wheeler out because of a targeting in the bowl game for the first half. He'll be back after halftime. They do give him enough for a Maryland first down.
We talked about to begin the game all the things that this Texas defense and defensive coordinator Todd Orlando has to deal with. Now a different quarterback with different tendencies.
Anthony McFarland, and again, stopped by Gary Johnson this time. McFarland, a redshirt freshman who was Maryland's top recruit a year ago, but he redshirted, still recovering from a really bad leg injury that he suffered as a high school senior. And before that, he was one of the top running back recruits in the country.
This is a very, very deep group here at Maryland. Matt Canada calls it the best he's ever been a part of. He was at Wisconsin with Monte Ball and James White, Melvin Gordon. A lot of good running backs there, so that's saying a lot.
On second down, McFarland motions out. Pigram goes off the right side for a short gain. Flipped down by Gerald Wilbon. 3rd and short.
Texas has to battle the fact that they lost Poona Ford last year. Big 12 defensive lineman of the year, incredibly impactful in particular in these scenarios and getting penetration and allowing guys like O'Menahue and Hager to get to the quarterback.
On 3rd down, down the sideline, Jacobs hangs on despite the big collision from Caden Stearns for a first down into Texas territory.
Unbelievable he was able to hang on to this football as Jacobs widens, gets to the soft spot in the zone coverage, but Stearns, the true freshman, lays the boom. And it's perfectly legal.
So first down from the 40. DJ Turner taking the fake. Johnson taking the ball. For a short gain.
There's just so much action going on before the snap of the football, and typically a defense is going to adjust, and when they don't, Matt Canada and his staff are saying, okay, these are the looks, these are the things that we can run out of this, because they're not adjusting to the shifts and motions that we're presenting them.
Turner in the flat makes Johnson miss, but stepped on the sideline, and a flag comes in.
There is no foul on the play for unnecessary roughness. The result of the play is a completed pass, 3rd down.
I mean, that would be tough, for any player out there. You're playing full speed. You don't know whether or not he stepped out of bounds, and I can promise you this, you almost rarely ever hear the whistle. Look how close that is. I mean, Davis doesn't have any clue whether or not he stepped out. He's got to keep playing through to make sure he doesn't get any further upfield.
A nice job by the officials to get it right. 3rd down and 8 for the Terps late in this first quarter. Under pressure, stands in. It's a fluttering duck. Jacobs came back to it, and a flag. Davis was beaten and then trying to recover, runs over Jacobs. Drawn several flags.
Pass interference, defense number 10, 15 yards from the previous spot, automatic first down.
Second penalty of the drive on Texas.
And they're going to bring a six-man pressure. Gary Johnson finds his way through and gets to Hill just at the end of the throw.
Correction.
And if Davis can get there sooner and not make as much contact, you find the football quicker. Maybe he makes a play on it, but at a minimum, there's not going to be the pass interference penalty in the bigger part of the first down.
Instead, 23-yard line. Plenty more pre-snap movement. First down and 10. They find another source off the left side. That is Tayon Fleet Davis, his first touch of the game, and they're spreading it around. They've had 8 different players carry the football over the first quarter of the season. That first quarter comes to a close. The Terps with interim head coach Matt Canada with a 14-7 lead on to the second in Landover. We knew that it would be an emotional day. It's been such an emotional few months for this program. And you know that. You just don't know what the reaction is going to be when you actually start the game. It's been a positive one for Matt Canada's team through a quarter.
Normally, any team is just tired of hitting each other throughout the course of camp. But with all the different emotions that this Maryland team has gone through, probably even more so. A lot of sadness, anger, all sorts of mixed emotions. But they get to kind of take that out on their opponent now. And it's almost a sense of relief or a release, more or less, for this team with everything they've had to deal with.
Tyrell Pigram comes back into the game at quarterback as they continue to go back and forth with he and Kasim Hill. On second down, Pigram looking end zone, floating one off of the fingertips of Edwards. We've gotten a step, couldn't quite haul it in, and it's 3rd and 9.
Matt Canada trying to get sneaky, trying to get Mr. Edwards the football, and you can see as they move the pocket, they're hoping Edwards gets caught up in the mix. You got Gary Johnson with his eyes caught in the backfield. Just too much on this football. Saw Jones with the extension earlier, Duvernay for Texas. In this case, it's Edwards. But this is the difference in this Maryland team. They didn't have the ability to throw to the tight ends like they have so far today.
Texas bringing pressure. Flushing Hill, who throws to the sideline and has a complete. And Brandon Jones pushing DJ Turner out. But it is 4th down.
Interesting play call to dial something up that you knew was going to be short of the sticks. They motioned DJ Turner across the formation to ensure that he had a bit of a cushion from his defender, in that case, Brandon Jones, but only a 5-yard route. Kind of surprised they didn't go further for the sticks.
Joseph Petrino, first collegiate attempt. True freshman from Richmond Hill, Georgia. This from 33, and it is right down the middle. Had a great camp. Matt Canada said he just hopes that he continues it into the real thing. And 1 for 1. Maryland takes a 17-7 lead. We're back to Landover in a moment. Joe Davis, Brady Quinn, Bruce Feldman, 17-7. Maryland in front, trying to knock off Texas back-to-back seasons. L.J. Humphrey from inside his own 5. Cuts it against the grain, able to stay on his feet. And gets dragged down from behind around the 30.
This is where it's pivotal. You've got to be able to run the football this part of the field.
Feed it to their biggest running back, Daniel Young, who lost 2 yards. Antoine Brooks with a tackle, and Bruce Feldman. This Maryland defense has been impressive so far.
They have, Joe. And with DJ Durkin away from the team, it's really worth noting that he was heavily involved in running the defense along with defensive coordinator Andy Boo. The guy I'm told who has really stepped up here has been linebacker coach Matt Barnes, who's become way more involved in running the defense and also kind of handling it on the sideline.
And it's a defense, Bruce, that a year ago was last in the Big Ten. 37 points per game. They come up with another stop here. It is Brooks again, and it's 3rd and 10.
I mean, at this point, you obviously want to try to convert, but given out where you're at in the field, you also just want to give your punter some room to punt the football. And at this point, he's going to be standing at the back of the end zone. You're Sam Ehlinger. Be careful with the football. Get what you can. Preserve the right to punt. Don't compound and make a big mistake.
Ehlinger out of his own end zone. Scrambling and throwing right to the sticks. Standing to catch it is Johnson. We'll see where they spot it.
This is going to be interesting because his feet were at the sticks and it looked like he had enough for the conversion, but where he caught the football and where it was when he went out of bounds looked short.
And they've actually just now said that the ruling is incomplete.
Yes, clearly wasn't able to get a foot in and even maintain possession of the football as the ball hits the ground. That's the guy I was really looking for at Texas coming into the game with his size and his ability. Colin Johnson, 6'6", 220 pounds. That guy's got to be able to take off and be a game changer for this Texas offense.
Here's Jones coming off of the edge again, this time laid off, and it is not a good one. Whoa, that is not good at all. Where are they going to spot it? Still coming to the 20-yard line. A 15-yard punt for Buchevsky.
This is what happens when you've got a true freshman punter who's standing backed up, right? Those guys don't feel comfortable back there. And this ball looks like it just hits on the outside of his foot, a little too high. And with the pressure that Maryland has gotten on Buchevsky so far today, you got to wonder if that's factoring in the back of his mind as well.
Texas fans already came into the year missing Michael Dixon. Now with the Seattle Seahawks, Buchevsky's not done much to make those feelings go away in this first half. So the drive begins at the Texas 20. And on a sweep, it's Jayshon Jones, and he can pass! Touchdown, Jacobs!
Who knew? And this guy can do it all. He can run, he can catch, and apparently he can throw. They've run the jet sweep so often today, kind of lulls you to sleep. And all your attention is on trying to stop Jayshon Jones now from hitting you with a big play. And then you turn loose Tavon Jacobs, who's working on Kobe Boyce. Remember, Devontae Davis injured out right now. Tough call for a guy coming in who's a redshirt freshman to replace him.
All Terps so far in Landover. Buchevsky with a short punt to just the 20-yard line. And on the first play, Jayshon Jones, already 2 touchdown receptions, now is on the other end of one. Jayshon Jones sure has introduced himself to Maryland fans today, hasn't he?
You're seeing flashes of maybe what this team could have been last year. 3-1 start, lose both first and second string quarterbacks. Season kind of falls apart. I think they feel like they have something to prove.
Got a 24-7 lead midway through this second quarter. As a Texas true freshman, Deshaun Jamison takes it from the 5 and has room to the left side with a couple of blockers in front. Got tripped up crossing the 30. Texas trying to get things going offensively. And a nice first down run for Trey Watson.
All that's occurred, and there's still 8 minutes left in the second quarter.
Jeez, you are right about that.
Look at that. Stephon Diggs, he's not too bad, right?
Good name. Watson again, first down. Transfer from Cal. It was really big-time player for the Golden Bears. More than 2,400 all-purpose yards during his career there. 3 consecutive carries for Watson. This one bounces to the outside, and he accelerates into Maryland territory.
Well, look at the tempo. You know, clearly Texas said on their sidelines, let's speed things up. Let's impose our will on our offensive line that they feel like can handle this Maryland defensive front. See if we can wear them down.
On second down, Ellinger steps up, lets it fly, and has a wide open Humphrey for a first down inside the 25.
Spoke with Sam Ellinger before this game. He said little Jordan Humphrey is his best friend. That's his go-to target. That time found his buddy in the soft spot of the zone coverage from Maryland.
This tempo's helping Texas put together its first sustained drive of the game. On first down from the 22, it's Ingram bouncing his way into the clear. Ingram inside the 10, and it's first and goal for Texas.
Maryland looked like they were going to bring a blitz from the edge. Ellinger changed the play. That's the growth you're looking for if you're Texas, and when they run the football the opposite way.
Back to Ingram, who's got his first collegiate touchdown.
Same exact play. The difference, Ingram's vision. Watch this left side of the offensive line. They wash everything down from Maryland. Ingram has the vision to hit the cutback. And that's thanks to Cade Brewer, their tight end, where a year ago, they didn't feel like they had the ability to block at the tight end position well enough to help them in the running game. They do now.
A drive that Texas badly needed. 70 yards in 6 plays. Took them a minute and a half. Back in 30 seconds. Johnson will take a knee. In the shadow of their own end zone here, a loss of 1 on a first down carry for Ty Johnson. Leaves the field here on second down. Fleet Davis again, and he loses a yard again. Chris Nelson, and Texas will use another timeout.
For Texas right here, they've got an opportunity, though. They can get a stop, potentially force a punt. We talked about the keys in the game earlier. You know, this is big for them. Last time they were able to score a deep touchdown pass, it was really helped out by a punt return. Now they've got the potential to back up Maryland on the punt if they get a stop.
Third down and 11 from Maryland's own 2-yard line. It's put on the ground and a safety off of the hip of Jake Funk, and Texas with a break that it needs. And they'll get the ball with 1:27.
And a timeout. And this is one of the drawbacks of running that jet sweep is you've got to be able to time up the motion. And when you've got all the different action going on, it becomes difficult with some of the ball handling. And they're trying to time it up so you get it to the carrier when he's at full speed passing by you to give him the best chance to get to the outside. In this case, Kasim Hill doesn't really get into the belly, more on the side of Funk.
There goes Deshaun Jamison. And the punter leaves. Spiraling punt. Out of bounds. Bringing a flag. Not the same on a kickoff, Wade. First down and long. Ellinger with a spot-on strike to Gerard Hurd. Converted quarterback with his first catch of the season for a gain of 18.
A nice response from Ellinger. But the first play felt like he had a couple guys open, decided not to take that throw and instead run. I think when he sticks with the system and his progressions, that's when he becomes dangerous.
Inside of 50 seconds now. Went for Hurd again, but a high throw. 3rd and 3.
How about the transition Gerard Hurd has made, though, from quarterback to wide receiver for Texas? He was the #1 dual threat quarterback coming out his year in high school. You know who was #2? Deshaun Watson.
Huh.
That's how good he was, and he's decided to take on this role now, and I think he's done a pretty darn good job of adjusting. Ellinger has got to give him a better ball next time.
Well, this is a spot that has kept Maryland or kept Texas from gaining much momentum offensively in this first half. 0 for 6 on 3rd down. Ehlinger with room to run for a first down. Their first conversion of this game. A run of 16 yards.
When you play man-to-man coverage, everyone's got their back to the quarterback trailing the receiver. That opens up running lanes for the quarterback, and if you don't have a spy, that's where Sam Ehlinger can hurt you.
Clock runs again with the ball set. Still 1 timeout for Texas. First down and 10. Ehlinger stands in, dumps it off. Kyle Porter, and here will come their first timeout. Or their last timeout. Second down. Texas out of timeouts now. Looking at a 2nd down and 4. Pressure coming. 1-on-1. There's Johnson. He's got it. Touchdown, Texas. And it appears they're going to go for 2 here.
Yeah, and you figure why not try to tie it up at this point. Some people would say a little too soon to start chasing points, but you got some momentum right now, and you got to ride with that when you've got it in college football.
They roll Ehlinger. Looks back the other way. Not much there. And leaves it out of the back of the end zone. Maryland remains in front by 2. Well, Maryland bullied its way around for the first 1/4 of this game, but you blink, and Texas is within 2, ready to get the ball to open the second half. 24-22, Terps in front as we go to halftime. And coming up, stay tuned for the State Farm halftime show right after these messages. The first half stats also brought to you by Dave & Buster's. Score even. The stats pretty even as well as we get ready to open the second half. And welcome you back inside, Joe Davis and Brady Quinn. And it's even now, but it sure wasn't for the first 1/4 of this game.
No, it's been a roller coaster of a game. Really a change in momentum. Maryland, from receiving the football right out the gate, went down, scored, and it took away a lot of the momentum for Texas, forced them to have to go the long and hard way to get points. And then all of a sudden, Texas kind of found their way at the end of the first half, was able to grab some of that momentum on their side with some big plays, in particular one by Colin Johnson.
Joseph Petrino sends it away. And a short kick taken by a diving Malcolm Roach inside the 20. We go down to Bruce Feldman.
Joe, I asked Tom Herman about what was really going wrong with you. Brady was talking about getting momentum back. How'd you do it? He goes, you know, we were just in our own heads too much. We're trying to be too perfect. I went up tempo, let the guys settle down. Salmon was the worst culprit of all. He said he missed some reads, he missed some throws on the perimeter. Once we settled down and got into rhythm, we were rolling. Defensively, we think we got a handle on a jet sweep, and it's going to help us a lot now that we got Wheeler back for the second half at linebacker.
And that was one of the issues for Sam Ehlinger last year, is I think in high school he could get away with missing some of his reads, but creating and doing more. Not at the college football level, and saw a little bit of that from him in the first half.
This time there's nothing in it.
When you lose a guy like Connor Williams, who was a second-round pick to the Dallas Cowboys, talented, but he missed a decent portion of last year. But over the offseason, they did get Calvin Anderson. You know, that's kind of the free agency of college football now. A graduate transfer from Rice. He really helped solidify some of their fears going into this season that they weren't going to have that blindside left tackle. But I think this group now, with experience, the fact that they're healthier, and with the addition of Anderson, they do have high hopes for this team being able to run the football better.
3 straight runs on this drive. Second down and 10. They keep it on the ground here. And a nice job to bounce off initial contact for Young. And he's got a first down. He's not the only addition, Calvin Anderson. Of course, Herb Hand over as the offensive line coach. And people rave about the impact that he's going to make.
Great story, sitting down talking with head coach Tom Herman. And I said, did you know Herb Hand before you brought him on a staff? He goes, no, I didn't know him at all. I was just watching film of Vanderbilt and these double teams working up against that vaunted Alabama defense, saying to myself, who is that guy? So he just called him up out of the blue. Ended up offering him a job, and he took it. Moral of the story, shoot or shoot. Miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's it. Maryland showing pressure on first down. Play clock winding down again. Texas gets it off. Young with a heavy dose on this drive, but MB Tani there to shut him down before he could get going.
You know, at the end of the first half, you saw Sam Ehlinger get more into a rhythm because they were throwing more on first down, and now they're not quite using the same tempo, and they've been in this run mode. And I think it gets hard, especially on young quarterbacks, to get back into that rhythm, especially over, you know, a halftime when you don't throw earlier on first and second down.
Here at 2nd and 9, he fakes, throws wide side off of the hands of Deshaun Jamison. Actually, Joshua Moore did another freshman, 3rd and 9.
And then you end up in 3rd and 9,
yeah.
right? And this becomes tough to ask of, you know, a sophomore, but a guy only started 6 games as a true freshman last year. And you're looking at the maturation process of Sam Ehlinger, and you got to try to help him out a little bit.
With the issues they've had getting things started on 1st and 2nd down, there's what's happened on 3rd down. 1 for 8 today. 3rd down and 9. A shovel pass is batted in the air. They let it play, saying that it was knocked out of his hand before it became a pass. Thankfully for Texas, they fall on it. Jesse Anabonum was the man that stuck his hand in there, made it 4th down.
And here's the deal. They're playing man-to-man coverage, so there's going to be responsible for that. But you're going to see Anabonum, top of your screen, right to the right, gets a hand in. He's responsible for the quarterback if they were going to try to run what looked like kind of an option with a shovel pass underneath. Either way, there's a defender just waiting for the Texas running back.
It's like this game is kind of waiting to take off in this 2nd half after a lot of action in the 1st half. Fair catch, Jacobs. 26-yard line for Maryland. And with DJ Durkin, the head coach and the leader of the defense, on administrative leave, the defense still putting up a good performance today. 2-point game. Couple injury updates for you. Here's Bruce Feldman.
Guys, Devontae Davis, Texas's big senior cornerback, he is out for the rest of the game with a neck injury. Brecken Hager, their edge rusher, he is back. He's been battling cramps. And by the way, it is steaming hot down here.
There's a first play to DJ Turner off the right side. I hope Bruce's hair is holding up okay despite that. Humidity can be tough.
There's a reason why we didn't put him on camera.
So I have my answer.
Yeah.
And we talked about this a little bit during the 1st half, but from a football perspective, what Maryland went through this summer meant that they lost about a month and a half of normal conditioning. How will that show up as this game rolls on? Here's Pigram with a short gain. Stopped by Jeffrey McCulloch. And it'll be 3rd down.
And McCulloch has had to kind of fill in for spot duty, right? Lost Gary Johnson due to the targeting call earlier in the game. Anthony Wheeler was out for the 1st half, now in the 2nd half. He's done a good job filling in.
3rd and 4, only a 3-man rush. 8 in coverage. McFarland made it close, but it appears he's a yard short as Kobe Boyce was able to trip him up. So it is 4th down and 1. So far, no sign of the punt team. Matt Canada perhaps rolling the dice late in this 3rd quarter with his team up 2.
Your defense has done the job on 3rd down so far today. Gutsy call, momentum call. You got a guy playing interim head coach. What do you got to lose?
Fourth down, less than 1. They sneak it with Hill, and he's stymied. Locke and Hager slam the door, and Texas takes control inside the 35.
This play was stymied thanks to Chris Nelson. Wondered how he'd be able to fill in the shoes of Poona Ford. Watch right here. He stands up the Maryland offensive line. That allows Hager to get inside. There's nowhere for Hill to go. Hager and the rest of the Texas defense rallies. That's a big stop.
Momentum shifter. Texas takes over at the 36-yard line. The other time today they had exceptional field position. On the first play, they hit a 39-yard touchdown to Devin Duvernay.
And as much as you can feel like that's deflating if you're Maryland, what Matt Canada is saying when he keeps his offense out there is, I have faith in you, my defense, to be able to hold up now.
They've held up for much of the day today, after they were the worst defense in the Big Ten last year. Snap it with 1 second to spare. Ellinger all day to throw. Great coverage downfield. And his only option is to heave it to the sideline with a double covered Johnson. 2nd and 10.
Texas isn't rotating their wide receivers quite as much as Maryland has been. And that time, little Jordan Humphrey was trying to work his way across the field. Seemed like he was a little bit slow to get across. Maybe conditioning's becoming a factor.
Watson, not a whole lot there. Now, Bruce mentioned how hot it is. Texas has had something like 2.5 weeks in a row of 100 degrees or worse every single day.
The day I was there, they were practicing in the bubble, so they weren't necessarily out in that heat. Not saying that you would change the way you prepared yourself. No reason to subject guys to it if you don't have to. Now with a big 3rd down, the question becomes, do you continue to keep playing man-to-man coverage? It's worked out for you well, but it's becoming a little bit more predictable. But you try to bring some pressure.
Just barely inside the range of the freshman Cameron Dicker right here. 3rd down and 9. They bring 5. Ellinger wants Johnson. He's got it, and it's 1st down and goal. Perfectly dropped in by Ellinger.
Sam Ellinger told me every time they get impressed man-to-man coverage, they're going to look for him. And this ball, as you noted, perfectly placed to the outside shoulder. Colin Johnson uses the big body to shield it and make the catch.
Kyle Porter sheds a tackle. Texas all the way back and in front for the first time today.
This becomes so tough to stop. After a big play, they rush and get up to the line of scrimmage. You're just trying to get set. Meanwhile, trying to stop this Texas offensive line, that push, and Kyle Porter. I mean, look at this. When you're running with tempo, you're trying to substitute, trying to get guys lined up on the field, let alone figure out what the offense is trying to do. You can see Anna Bonham on the left side of your screen goes down immediately after the play.
So there it is, 22 unanswered for the Longhorns. It was set up with a perfect pass. Sam Ellinger to Colin Johnson. A connection they hope they hear a bunch this year in Austin. And from the doorstep, Porter punched it in. 29-24, Texas in front. Longhorns in front of the Terps, 29-24. Kyle Porter, 4th running back used today for Texas, gets in from 2 yards out. Cameron Dicker, Austin native, Lake Travis, will send it away to Ty Johnson. Good kick. Johnson will take a knee. From the 25-yard line. Johnson stopped by Wheeler. Again, Johnson last year against Texas, 132 yards, and has put together a fantastic career for the Terps. Just not a whole lot today.
You think Todd Orlando made that one of the things they wanted to stop today coming into this game?
Well, what did he tell us? He said that he thought sometimes the best lesson is getting your butts whooped, and that's what Ty Johnson and the Maryland offense did to the Texas defense last year. Took those lessons forward, remembering them easily today. There's a flag down as Funk has the reception.
Personal foul, hands to the face. defense, number 94. That 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. First down.
Gerald Wilbon.
Yeah, big 94 right here in the center of your screen. See him getting his hands up in Johnny Jordan's face mask, continuing to push and grab on. Good catch by the official. It's tough to see sometimes with all those big bodies in there.
Johnson not with a whole lot of room off the right side. Anthony Wheeler, Jeffrey McCulloch.
That's the thing that I think has stymied Maryland on offense, is the lack of production or shooting themselves in the foot with penalties, things like that on first down. And when you notice that in the beginning of their drives, that's where they've really struggled to move the football.
Back to the gun on second down. In the flats, Johnson needs a block and gets one and two, and hits the sideline for a first down.
Unique play design. They're sprinting out hill, yet they've got Johnson in the flat. He's behind the line of scrimmage, so that means the wide receivers can engage downfield and block before he catches the football, which is really what helped open up the yardage downfield.
Dante Demas, yet another true freshman receiver, had one of the key blocks on that play. Into Texas territory, first down from the 38. Fake to Johnson. Hill in trouble and sacked by Chris Boyd.
He's just a complete player. He's great in coverage. He'll come up and stick you in the run game. Here he is coming off of the edge. He's a good blitzer. It's underneath Avery Edwards and finds his way of bringing down Hill. And that's no easy task. Hill's a big boy now. 6'2", 235 pounds.
Boyd came to Texas dreaming of being part of the DBU legacy. He's most experienced player on the defense at this point. 3-year starter, matured a lot, into a leader for him. Second down, shovel pass into traffic, that's incomplete. And it's third and long.
Never really a great time for a shovel pass, in my opinion. Was never my favorite play call for that reason. You're pitching back inside to all these bodies, and you never know if you're going to have a defensive lineman or linebacker pop through.
Those guys can't catch.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't want to try them, huh?
You'd be surprised. Sometimes those big guys got soft hands.
Sometimes it just sticks. Third and 19.
Maybe it's a screen, draw, something simple, get some yards out of it.
Hill with a straight drop, hits the crosser. Darryl Jones gets him inside the 35. So they get about 15 back, and it's fourth down and less than 5.
You went for it last time in your own territory. Do you go for it now? Too long for the kicker, too close to maybe punt. Maybe you take another shot. You got some momentum here.
Fourth down and 6. They went for it on fourth down in the previous drive in their own territory, and it got stopped. They'll go for it here from the Texas 34, down for the first time today.
Jayshon Jones is at the top of your screen. He's matched up on Boyd. Don't know if he'll go there, but he's going to start today.
Hill is pressured. He runs. Kasim Hill with a first down. Taken off to the 25 and extending the drive with a gain of 10.
And this was all about the pump fake. Once he got outside the pocket, he looks downfield and watch right here. That little move, it just sells Foster and allows him to have more space to pick up the additional yards for the first down. That's a big-time play by Kasim Hill.
Fasten those seatbelts. Fourth quarter coming up, and a 5-point game from Maryland. Start of the fourth quarter a little bit deceiving because it's been bright sunshine for much of the day, but there is some weather that's moved into the area. And if you get a lightning strike within the vicinity of the stadium, you're going to get a delay. So they're watching it closely.
This is just our crew's luck.
It's us.
We dealt with this last year.
Sorry, Texas fans. Sorry, Maryland fans. It's Bruce Feldman's fault.
That's what I'd like to believe. He's the one down there outside in the elements.
He's the one whose microphone's not on, so I figured we'd pick on him. All right, start of the fourth quarter. Maryland has led most of this game. Texas taking its first lead late in the third quarter. Hill to the end zone. Jones, the intended receiver, out of his reach with the coverage from another freshman, and Caden Stearns.
It's just a heck of a play from Stearns. He'll put the ball in a good spot, gave Jones an opportunity to make the spectacular play just outside the reach, just through the hands, really. I'll tell you what, though, the future is bright for Jayshon Jones. True freshman, first game of his career. They're asking him to do a bunch of different things.
As we've seen today, instead of handed all 3 Maryland touchdowns. Hill, blockers in front. Chased down from behind by P.J. Locke. So they do get enough to make it a more comfortable third down.
He had the option to throw to Fleet Davis out in the flat. Decided to run it himself, get him to turn up and block. But P.J. Locke was able to track Hill down from the backside. Great play, good hustle.
Another one of those veterans on the Texas defense. Third year with time as a starter. They gave him 6. 3rd and 4. Fleet Davis slips a tackle on his feet towards the end zone, and then touchdown Terps to retake the lead early in the 4th.
It's so difficult to stop. Watch as he comes across. There just ends up being a seam. Hager ends up being unblocked. He can't get him. He's already by him at that point. The momentum, the speed, the power once he gets to the second level to find the end zone by Fleet Davis.
You're talking about how deep this running back group is. See on Fleet Davis, somebody that Matt Canada is really excited about. And his first touchdown has Maryland in front by a point. Extra point good. First points for Maryland since midway through the second quarter. Heck of a game going in Landover. The Terps back in front by 2. But right now there's no sports to watch because there are severe thunderstorms in the area, and they have suspended the game for the moment, sending the teams back into the locker rooms with lightning close enough by to warrant it. Sending the fans to the concourses, or at least urging them to head to the concourses and ramps.
Where's Bruce?
You never know in these situations.
Hopefully he's found shelter.
Especially for the hair. In the meantime, while we wait this out, send it to LA and Rob Stone. All right, Rob, and the sun has even come back out as Maryland and Texas get ready to resume things with 14:25 left to go on what has been a good one. All right, so we're all set to resume. Petrino, the freshman kicker. It's like we're starting the game all over again. Now we got a kickoff, the opening kickoff of game 2 between Maryland and Texas today. Sean Jamison back to return Joseph Petrino's kick. Here we go again in a 31-29 game from Landover. Jamison from the 5. Jamison across the 25 and dropped right there. Quick fake and a toss to the outside. Duvernay. Bumped out of bounds by Darnell Savage. He's got a diving touchdown catch today. He's got a solid gain here into Maryland territory. They gave him 7, so 2nd and 3. And Trey Watson for a yard. 3rd down and 2.
It was a good play by Antoine Brooks. He's really had himself a game today. They asked him to do so much in this defense. Top of the coaching staff, by far and away their best player on that side of the ball.
Quickly on the ball for 3rd down. Duvernay gets ripped down in the backfield by Tino Ellis. And just like that, 4th down for Texas.
Went to the well one too many times with the quick screen out to the wide receiver. Tino Ellis read it the entire way. And if you're Colin Johnson, you have to find a way to get a body on Ellis and not allow him to disrupt it.
Like the Longhorns had some momentum going on that drive, but it quickly sputters. And the punt team comes out as Jacobs goes back. If you happen to just be joining us, it has been an adventure today for Ryan Buchevsky in his first game. It's a good bounce here, despite the wet surface. Rolls it inside the 10, 42 yards for Buchevsky. Whole lot different as far as the conditions go from the first 3 quarters of this game. Early on 4th quarter, after an hour-and-a-half weather delay, Maryland's first possession since begins at its own 8. The play that they scored on prior to the delay with a jet sweep to Tayon Fleet-Davis. A gain of 12, 1st down.
Yeah, I'm sure Maryland would like to put together a long, methodical drive running the football against this Texas defense. And let's not forget, this defense is playing without their middle linebacker, Gary Johnson. Impacted by the targeting call earlier. He was ejected for that. You got Anthony Wheeler back, who missed the first half, but Malcolm Roach now has to kind of play the inside backer spot.
They get it off. Texas brings heat. Hill down the sideline. Wants Jones. He'll get a flag with a coverage from Boyd. And what a debut game it's been for Jayshon Jones.
I got to be honest with you, too. I thought Chris Boyd played this pretty well. It was pretty physical down the stretch. But notice he turns back to try to make a play on the football. It's right there where he gets in trouble. Puts both hands on Jones and really impedes his ability to come back to the football right there. But up until that point, if he doesn't put 2 hands on him, I think he may get away with it because he turned back to try to make a play on the ball.
Instead, guy in his first college game gets the better of Texas's most experienced defender.
And that ball was underthrown. I kind of was thinking to myself, if Boyd makes a play on this one, I wouldn't be surprised.
1st down from the 34. Jacobs taking it left side, getting a couple of blocks, accelerating ahead to the 40. Brandon Jones and Anthony Wheeler combined on the tackle. 2nd down.
Jet sweep is so effective. You get these big offensive linemen for Maryland running. That time it was Ellis McKinney to the outside. You got these bigger bodies covering up defensive backs.
Already tough with the footing, trying to get out there and use that open space, make the footing even more difficult. And here it is again. Jacobs again, but he's planted this time by Brandon Jones. DJ Locke there as well. 3rd down for the Terps. 3rd and 4 from the 40.
Last time they wanted to take a shot at Boyd with Jones in one-on-one coverage. Right now, Jones isn't in the game. If they are going to pass, typically it's Tavon Jacobs' ball.
On the slant, it's Davenport exploding into the secondary. Jarvis Davenport for 34 yards into Longhorn territory.
Out front and accurate. That's how you allow the catch and run of the football. Davenport finds the soft spot in the zone coverage. He's able to get the rest and get that yak.
The senior's first catch of the day is a big one.
Texas elected to go with a zone coverage as opposed to man. They've been playing a lot of man-to-man today, in particular on 3rd down.
Near the halfway point of this 4th quarter, Maryland on the move with a 1st down from the 12. And Johnson, left side, sticks the shoulder down and fights near the marker. Ty Johnson, who had such a huge game in Austin last year, has been bottled up so far today. Now here he runs it down to the 3.
Four of your 5 starting offensive linemen coming back this year for Maryland. It's in this point in the game where it's really showing their experience, their drive, them trying to capitalize.
First down and goal. It's Johnson again. Inside the 2, down to the 1. Second and goal. Chris Nelson with the stop.
Something to keep your mind on. When Texas elected to go for 2 earlier in the game, didn't convert. Now all of a sudden that would make this with a touchdown, and if that does occur and they end up hitting a PAT, ends up making it a 9-point game.
It's a great point. It was late in the first half. You figured there'd be plenty more scoring opportunities to come to be able to chase it. Herman went for it there and it didn't work. On second and goal, fake it to Funk. Here comes Hill looking for the corner, won't get it. Brandon Jones with a nice open field tackle to make it 3rd and goal.
Just an unbelievable play by Brandon Jones. And typically when you have a quarterback run, it's going to be the guy who's unblocked. He's furthest away. And he's tracking downhill the entire time, running across the field to make this play. Big time stop for the Longhorns.
Not his only one. 10th of the game for Brandon Jones. Third and goal from the 2. Play action off his back foot, back of the end zone. No signal yet. The officials getting together.
I think he got a foot in.
That's Noah Barnes, a sophomore tight end, but incomplete and 4th down.
I want to see. It looked like he might have got a foot in. The question is whether or not his other foot might have been out. But check out his left foot as he extends to make the catch.
Right foot
bang
comes
bang
down
play,
first.
but right foot out first.
How about the officials getting that right in real time? Trino. From 18 yards, he's got it, and the lead is 5 for the Terps with 6:46 left to go. What a game we've had today in Landover. What a finish we got coming up on FS1. 34-29, Maryland in front, trying to beat Texas to open the season, back-to-back seasons, and for them trying to win a 9th consecutive season opener. This one loaded with additional circumstances from those others. Offseason full of heartbreak, and then all the turmoil lately. They find themselves leading inside of 7 minutes. Here comes Deshaun Jamison. Jamison shifts his way to the 27-yard line. First down from the 24. Ellinger steps up, lets it fly, and way out of the reach of Hurd, who had one-on-one, but tight coverage from Tino Ellis. 2nd and 10.
You're Sam Ellinger. You got to figure out a way to get back into rhythm, flush what happened the last series, come back and respond. You can still be the hero in this game.
Second and 10. Patiently runs that speed option again. Able to stay on his feet and pinball for a first down. Sam Ellinger with a gain of 12.
And that's the difference between Ellinger and Shane Buechele. He's bigger, he's stronger running the football. He can make these sorts of plays and move the sticks.
30 yards on the ground for him today. A guy that led the team in rushing last year. Inside of 4 minutes. Starting to shape up like this is going to have to be the drive for Texas. Pump short. Sideline. Incomplete. Joshua Moore almost had his first reception as a Longhorn, and it would have been a beauty, but instead 2nd and 10.
And I was just about to say that was going to be a complete play for Sam Ehlinger as we take another look at Moore's extension. Can't quite haul it in. But Ehlinger changed the protection, blocked things up, had a man get beat, threw with pressure in his face to the right spot, just couldn't quite put it all together.
Maryland 5 men at the line of scrimmage. They bring them all as the option goes wide side. Trey Watson surges forward for 7 or 8, makes it a 3rd and short. 3:15 and counting. All 3 timeouts left for Texas. Third and 3. Here's Watson, adjusts to make the catch, gets a couple of blocks and gets close. He was marked down. They spotted him down.
This is going to be close.
And then an announcement from Brad Van Vark.
What a catch.
I'm not sure that this play is going to count. No, they are going to say they did get it off, and they're going to measure.
Where's the momentum of this
After
game?
reviewing the play, the ball came loose prior to the runner being down and was clearly recovered by Maryland. It'll be first down Maryland at the Texas 49.
And so the first 2 turnovers of this game come on back-to-back Texas possessions down the stretch. The span of 7 plays.
And we talked about when we came back from the weather delay. How will this potentially impact the game moving forward? The ball's a little slick. All of a sudden, ball security becomes a premium. And so far, Texas just has not taken care of the football down the stretch.
But Tom Herman still has all 3 timeouts. The last time his defense was put in this position, 3 and out.
And this defense last year carried itself on stopping the run and 3rd down. 2 things that are coming huge right now.
Maryland has everybody packed in tight for first down and 10. Funk in motion. Here comes Johnson. Stopped by Wheeler after 3. Territory for Texas fans. 7-6 last year, but so close to being so much better. And at this point, they find themselves on the wrong end of a tight game again. 2nd down. Johnson again, right side, crossing the 45. And Tom Herman will use the 2nd timeout. It'll be 3rd down. The issue right now has been the turnovers. First an interception, then a fumble after, as far as the turnovers go, a cleanly played game prior to that.
Yeah, up until this point, I think Sam Ehlinger has played pretty solid. And I question the decision. His arm got tipped as well. Not sure how much that impacted his overall play. You can see Watson's waiting for it. Had a guy coming up from behind as well. And then Trey Watson, the running back for Texas, fumbling the football. Kolka there to recover. This has been a team we talked about just a moment ago, all the close matches they lost last season. It's what happens when you've got a young team. Sometimes it's hard to find a way to close out games or be able to find a way of coming back.
3rd down and 6. Jake Funk on the jet sweep stays in bounds, but how about this Texas defense? Pressure put on its shoulders, back-to-back possessions, and both times it comes up big.
This is a good sign moving forward for Texas, regardless of the outcome of this game, is they're able to carry over that momentum with their defense from last year so far to this season. Struggled a little bit early on, but I think they've settled down, and much like last season for Texas, they've gotten better as the game's gone on.
Jones waiting back and see what Texas does. They're going to set up the return. Lee's trying to pin him. Jones takes it at the 5. Brandon Jones across the 20. Able to shed a tackle. Brandon Jones across the 30.
Well, they elect to go with the return, and they set it up, and Jones actually goes back across the action and gets to the field. Breaking Jake Funk's tackle, spins off another. Ellis can't get him at the end, and Jones providing a spark and maybe some life to this Texas offense, giving him a chance with 2:12 left to play.
He's coming up a little bit limp, but he's done his job for the time being with a 27-yard return. And Texas with okay starting field position here. Here comes Sam Ehlinger, son of a pair of Texas grads who grew up going to games in Austin, grew up dreaming of being the Texas quarterback. He's that man to open 2018. Trying to lead him from behind here in the season opener. Out of an empty set on first down. Ehlinger well protected. Steps into his throw. It's a strike for Humphrey and a first down to midfield.
Big time throw to start off this drive. A huge confidence builder for Ehlinger, but also just for momentum right now for this Texas offense to get this drive started. It's Humphrey working on Quantrez Knight. Hasn't played a ton today. They switch up the coverage on him and put Rayvon Davis.
Texas stays in an empty set. Ehlinger again has time, but the coverage downfield flushes him out. The throw to the sideline incomplete. Looking for Johnson, 2nd and 10.
So Maryland's using a 3-man rush and keeping Antoine Brooks around a spy for Ehlinger in case he does decide to leave the pocket. There are some running lanes there for him, but you know, Brooks' closing speed and his athleticism should match well if Ehlinger does decide to take off.
Seen him do it a couple times today. Effective a couple times. 2nd and 10. Again, they spy him. He'll check it down, and Porter is met immediately. Tino Ellis with 1:37. It's 3rd and long for Texas.
When Maryland's guarding the sidelines, they're not allowing them really to throw anywhere intermediate or deep on the sidelines. Instead, make him throw it in the field or short and make him have to run up to make the additional yardage.
2 plays to get 13 yards. 3rd down, 13, 1:37 left. Maryland continues to drop everybody into coverage. And again, they check it down. Here's Porter. Ushered out of bounds at the 45. 4th down and 5 for Texas with 1:30 to go.
And who's it going to be? Colin Johnson has had some big plays for them today. 1 touchdown catch in a crucial moment and another big catch to set up a touchdown. But it's been little Jordan Humphrey, number 84. He's been the guy they try to work to in these 3rd down and 4th down situations.
Scans the field under pressure. Can he find a lane? Lets it go. First down. Devin Duvernay extended the play with his feet, and Duvernay on the other end of it.
And this is what makes him so special. Nothing's open, buying time, and then he creates. He finds a window to Duvernay for the 4th down conversion, and it is tough to cover for that long a period of time. Looks like Maryland wants to bring pressure. Ehlinger checking.
They do bring it. Ehlinger rolls, turns his shoulders, eyes downfield, will throw it out of bounds. Again, good coverage from the Terp secondary. 2nd and 10.
It was a battle of X's and O's. Ehlinger saw the pressure, wanted to check. Then the defense for Maryland wanted to check, but it was right before the snap. I'm not sure they were all able to communicate it either way. Forced the incompletion.
Four-man rush. Off of Porter's hands. 3rd down.
Maryland has elected to just rush 3, drop 8 into coverage. oh so difficult to find anything downfield and really any throwing lanes for that matter. Again, this might be Ehlinger trying to find a way to buy time with his legs and running for a first down, or just buying time in the pocket for someone to get open.
Play clock inside of 5. They get it off, and again, everybody dropping. So Ehlinger with time. Extends the play. Downfield, and picked off! Antoine Brooks likely sealing the deal for the Terps.
Incredible play by Antoine Brooks, the junior from Duval High School. It's called prevent defense. They're really only rushing 2 with a spy. Ehlinger not necessarily needing to throw it out of desperation, but this ball just flat out sails high. And look at the height from Brooks, the elevation, and then the ability to hold on to the football for the interception.
Texas out of timeouts. Now they just need to execute the snaps, which is not as simple with the footing the way it is, the surface the way that it is. They get the first one done inside of a minute. That clock rolling. And it is amazing when you think about everything that these kids have been through for the Maryland Terps. Waving the flag, Jordan McNair, a teammate who passed away in early June. They spent the whole summer and will continue to grieve and remember him. Wanted to honor him simply by playing. They took it to a new level today. And they'll honor him by beating Texas in the season opener.
For Texas, they've got some things to figure out.
Let's go down to Bruce, who's with Matt Canada.
Matt, your team's been through so much emotionally. Obviously, the tragedy with Jordan McNair. So many of the guys wanted to play for him. What's going through your mind right now?
Thinking about Jordan. The guys were talking about it over there. Hell of a win for those kids. They've been through a lot. Defense did a great job right there. We didn't do our job on offense at the end. Defense did a great job. Our kids are special. Our kids are special. They did a great job, and I'm so proud of them.
You guys have the big lead, then they score 22 unanswered, then you got the weather delay. How do you keep them focused in with all the stuff they've been dealing with?
They knew they were going to win. They believed. I don't mean that like new, but they believed. They were in there talking about it. They believed they were going to win. They didn't lose their focus. We talked about how to do it, and they did it. Again, it's all the kids.
You got a freshman, first game, Jay Sean Jones, throws a pass for a touchdown, catches one, and runs one. What did you see in this defense that you thought you could exploit with him?
I don't know if we saw anything that way. We ran our plays. We took our shots. Obviously, I did it, the sneak down there, put our defense in a bad spot. That was on me. But our kids played well, so we got good talent, and they did a great job.
All right, congratulations, Matt. Thank you.
34-29, the final from Landover. Here's Mike Hill.